the ultimate Ctet psychology visual guide, high yield theories, frameworks, memory codes for child development and pedagogy. This is about the memory code. Some frogs bring pretty green hats. Structuralism, functionalism, behaviorism, psychoanalysis, gestalt, and humanistic psychology. This is about the different schools of thought. First one, structuralism. సో స్ట్రక్చరలిజం అనేటువంటి దీన్ని తెలుగులో సంరచనాత్మకవాదం అంటారు. దీనికి మూల పురుషుడు, దిస్ ఈజ్ ది ఫాదర్ ఆఫ్ స్ట్రక్చరలిజం ఈజ్ విలియం వూంట్. స్ట్రక్చర్ ఆఫ్ మైండ్, focus on structure of mind, and the method used by them is introspection. అంతఃపరీక్షణ పద్ధతి అనేటువంటిది ముఖ్యమైనది. సో మైండ్ యొక్క స్ట్రక్చర్ గురించి సంరచనాత్మకవాదం, స్ట్రక్చర్, నిర్మాణము, విలియం వూంట్ అండ్ టిష్నర్. సో జర్మనీలోని లైప్జిగ్ ఏరియాలో 1879లో మొట్టమొదటి ప్రయోగశాలను, మనోవిజ్ఞాన శాస్త్ర ప్రయోగశాలను ప్రారంభించింది విలియం వూంట్. అందుకే విలియం వూంట్ ఈజ్ ద ఫాదర్ ఆఫ్ స్ట్రక్చరలిజం. దెన్ బిహేవియరిజం, ఫాదర్ ఆఫ్ బిహేవియరిజం ఈజ్ జేబీ వాట్సన్ అండ్ స్కిన్నర్. ఫోకస్ ఆన్ అబ్జర్వబుల్ బిహేవియర్. బిహేవియరిజంలో 1878 to 1958 it is the behavior is the product of stimulus and response. Behavior is the product of stimulus and response. This is what is the psychology. This is stimulus and response psychology. In 1904, S-type conditioning that has been designed by Ivan Pavlov of Russia, and drive reduction theory, C.L. Hull, క్లార్క్ లియోనార్డ్ హల్. తర్వాత స్కిన్నర్ ఆపరెంట్ కండిషనింగ్ థియరీ. ఆల్ దీస్ ఆర్ డిపెండింగ్ అపాన్ ది స్టిమ్యులస్ రెస్పాన్స్. లర్నింగ్ డిపెండ్స్ ఆన్ ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్. బిహేవియరిస్ట్ బిలీవ్ దట్ లర్నింగ్ డిపెండ్స్ ఆన్ ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్. నెక్స్ట్ గెస్టాల్ట్. ఫోకస్ ఆన్ పర్సీవింగ్ ది హోల్. Gestalt psychology school of thought, father is Max Wertheimer, and three members in this Gestalt psychology: Kurt Kofka, Wolfgang Kohler. Gestalt word is derived from German, that is configuration, perception, whole greater than parts. Whole is important rather than parts. That is insightful learning. They learn with an insight. Antardrushti, prajna meeda, gata anubhavala meeda aadharapadi. That depends on the experiences, past experiences. As a result, problem solving, project method, heuristic method, humanism came into existence from Gestalt school of thought. Next, functionalism. This is what is called cause and effect. This father of functionalism is William James. Written a book called Principles of Psychology. Father of American psychology is William James. Focus on function and adaptation. ఫంక్షనలిజంలో ముఖ్యమైనటువంటిది ఇది. కంటిన్యూస్ ఫ్లో ఆఫ్ థాట్స్, స్ట్రీమ్ ఆఫ్ కాన్షియస్నెస్, థియరీ ఆఫ్ న్యాచురల్ సెలెక్షన్స్. ఫంక్షన్స్ ఆర్ మోర్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. Mind helps to adjust the environment. Mind helps adjust to environment. Functionalism, McIntyre, John Dewey, Angel, E.L. Thorndike, Wordsworth. So these are all these people are from functionalism. Next, psychoanalysis. Next school of thought is psychoanalysis. This is father of psychoanalysis is Sigmund Freud from Austria. He focused on unconscious mind, id, ego and superego. Personality is equal to unconscious conflicts. Sigmund Freud gives much importance, 90% to the unconscious mind rather than conscious, that is 10% only. And the school of thought, psychoanalysis, Carl Jung, Alfred Adler. And this is about psychoanalysis. Humanistic psychology, Abraham Maslow and Carl Rogers focus on self-growth and self-actualization. మానవతావాదం వ్యతిరేకించినది ప్రవర్తనవాదాన్ని, that is behaviorism. It rejects behaviorism and psychoanalysis. Carl Rogers and Abraham Maslow in 1908 to 1970. Self-concept is very important. Self-growth, self-actualization. Every individual has potential. Humanistic psychology believes that every individual has potential. మానవ ప్రవర్తనలో ప్రతి వ్యక్తిలోనూ అహం లేదా నేను అనే స్వీయ భావన ప్రకారం నిర్ధారించబడుతుంది అని చెప్తాడు కార్ల్ రోజర్స్. వ్యక్తుల అవసరాల్లో ఉండే తారతమ్యాలు ప్రవర్తన నిర్ధారిస్తాయని మాస్లో చెప్తారు. దిస్ ఈజ్ వాట్ ఈస్ హ్యూమనిస్టిక్ సైకాలజీ. ఎవరీ ఇండివిజువల్ హ్యాస్ పొటెన్షియల్. And then coming to the case of classical conditioning by Ivan Pavlov. When dog sees food, it salivates. And the food is followed by bell, and dog salivation takes place. It is natural. But bell paired with food is unconditioned. But dog salivates at the bell alone. It is conditioned. Food is placed along with the bell. Dog salivates, it is natural. Food is available. But when there is no food, only bell rings. Dog salivates. This is what is conditioned. కాబట్టి ఆహారము గంట శబ్దంతో పెట్టినప్పుడు కుక్కలో లాలజలం ఊరడం అనేటువంటి సహజమే. కానీ గంట శబ్దానికే లాలజలం ఊరడం అనేటువంటిది నిబంధనము. This is E.L. Thorndike, Edward Louis Thorndike. Trial and error of learning. Trial and error learning. So this is all law of effect. A cat is placed in a puzzle box, which is a hungry one, and correct responses strengthened there through trial. It makes trials and it finally touch the latch and come out of the puzzle box, for which puzzle box is used by E.L. Thorndike. E.L. Thorndike used puzzle box for trial and error learning of cat. Right. B.F. Skinner, operant conditioning. Here rat, and he used a pigeon also. He used Skinner box, and there is a lever. If it press the lever, food is the reward, and rewarded behavior repeats. Therefore, it is a reinforced behavior. Therefore, rewarded behavior repeats. Therefore, that Ivan Pavlov conditioning theory is called S-type conditioning, whereas B.F. Skinner operant conditioning is called R-type conditioning because rewarded behavior repeats. Albert Bandura, social and observational learning. Bobo doll. This is the Bobo doll. So these children observe aggressive adult, then imitate the behavior. Whenever children observe the aggressive adult, then they imitate the behavior. బాగా ఒక అగ్రెసివ్ బిహేవియర్ ఉన్నటువంటి పిల్లవాడిని చూసినప్పుడు ఆ పిల్లవాని ప్రవర్తనను అనుకరిస్తారు పిల్లలు. ఇది బోబోడాల్. బోబోడాల్ వాడిండేది ఎవరు అంటే ఆల్బర్ట్ బండూరా. దెన్ పెట్ డాగ్స్, tickle cats, save rats, beat children. Pet dogs, Pavlov dog. Tickle cats, Thorndike cat. Save rats, Skinner rat. Beat children, Bandura child. So this is the code, memory code. The evolution of learning theories. Behaviorism. Learning is observable. Behavior changed via conditioning. This is the concept of behaviorists. కాబట్టి అభ్యసనం అనేది పరిశీలించదగినది. ప్రవర్తన మార్పు అనేది నిబంధన ద్వారా వస్తుంది అని చెప్పేదే బిహేవియరిజం. దెన్ కగ్నిటివిజం, దట్ ఈస్ పియాజేస్ థియరీ ఆఫ్ cognitive theory of development. Learning is internal, mental process, schema, assimilation and accommodation. Cognitivism believes that this learning is internal and it is a mental process, and already child is having schema and through which assimilation and accommodation takes place and learning proceeds. And then followed by constructivism. Constructivism is Piaget's and Vygotsky. Learners construct meaning actively through experience, learning by doing. So learning, in their words, sense, construction of knowledge. They construct the knowledge according to constructivism, Jean Piaget and Vygotsky. Humanism. Carl Rogers and Maslow focus on self-actualization, student-centered, teacher is a facilitator. మానవతావాదంలో టీచర్ మార్గదర్శిగా సౌకర్యకర్తగా ఉంటాడు. పిల్లలు ఆత్మ భావనను, ఆత్మ సాక్షాత్కారాన్ని పొందుతారు, ఆత్మతృప్తిని పొందుతారు. సో స్టూడెంట్ సెంటర్డ్ దిస్ ఈజ్. సోషల్ లెర్నింగ్, ఆల్బర్ట్ బండూరా, లర్నింగ్ వయా అబ్జర్వేషన్, ఇమిటేషన్ అండ్ కాన్సిక్వెన్సెస్. అభ్యసనం అనేది పరిశీలన ద్వారా, అనుకరణ ద్వారా, పర్యవసానాల ద్వారా జరుగుతుంది అనేటువంటిది బండూరాస్ థియరీ. మెమరీ కోడ్. బ్యాట్స్ క్యాచ్, క్రేజీ హ్యాపీ స్పైడర్స్. బ్యాట్స్ క్యాచ్. బ్యాట్స్ మీన్స్ బిహేవియరిజం, క్యాచ్ కాగ్నిటివిజం, క్రేజీ కన్స్ట్రక్టివిజం, happy humanism, spider social is social. No single theory is complete. We need all of them to understand learning. Piaget's cognitive stages. Sensory motor stage 0 to 2 years. In this object is permanent. He feels that object is object permanence. In pre-operational stage 2 to 7 years, he feels egocentrism, and third stage, concrete operational stage 7 to 11 years, he can have 4 5 ja 20, but 5 4 ja he can't understand. That is what is discrimination or learning or logical thinking belongs to only concrete objects, not abstract. And fourth stage, 11 plus years, formal operational stage. In this scenario, child can discriminate and think creatively about abstract objects. So So core idea, child construct knowledge through experience, that is Jean Piaget's cognitive stages. Vygotsky social cultural theory. And child learn with his previous knowledge, so he learn with the help of MKO, more knowledgeable other, and he support, that is called scaffolding. And with his knowledge he can learn up to some extent, but with the help of MKO he can learn more. That is the difference between the learning with the support of MKO is more when compared to self learning. And the difference between these two is called zone of proximal development, ZPD. Core idea is zone of proximal development. Learning occurs with the guidance from more knowledgeable others. This is very, very important. This scaffolding is called social scaffolding. Vygotsky socio-cultural theory. Erik Erikson psychosocial stages. First one, trust and mistrust. 0 to 1 year. Trust and mistrust. This is the psychosocial stage. Then autonomy and shame. That is the 1 to 3 years. Initiative guilt, 3 to 6 years. That is a preschool stage. And a schooling stage, that is industry and inferiority, 6 to 12 years. And 12 years to 18 years, this is what is called adolescence. At this stage, identity and role confusion. And then intimacy and isolation. This is during early adulthood, that is intimacy and isolation. And 40 to 65, this is generosity and stagnation, this is middle age. And old age, integrity and despair, this is 65 plus. These are the psychosocial stages, 8 stages explained by Erik Erikson. నమ్మకము, అపనమ్మకము, స్వయం ప్రతిపత్తి, సిగ్గు, తర్వాత చొరవ, తప్పు చేశానన్న భావన, శ్రమశీలత మరియు ఆత్మన్యూనత, పాత్ర గుర్తింపు, పాత్ర సందిగ్ధం, అదేవిధంగా సాన్నిహిత్యం, ఏకాంతం, ఉత్పాదకత, స్తబ్దత, ఇంటిగ్రిటీ అండ్ డెస్పైర్. Then Piaget stages. Some people can't focus, sensorimotor, pre-operational, concrete, formal. Kohlberg's the core framework, pre-conventional level, conventional level, and post-conventional level. Pre-conventional level, that is obedience and self-interest. So he will follow the ethics only by punishment or to get something out of the work. Pre-conventional stage. And conventional stage accept the social approval and law and order is obeyed by the child, and there he follows ethics. And post-conventional level, justice and universal principles, they are accepted. And Piaget's the rule shift, heteronomous and autonomous, obedience to strict rules, understanding the rules and the intentions. And Gilligan, the feminist critic, ethics of care, decisions are based on relationships and empathy, not just rigid justice. This is feminist critic Gilligan. Rest, the 4 components. Moral action requires sensitivity, judgment, motivation, character. Kohlberg levels, PCP, pre-conventional, conventional and post-conventional. Singular, general, plural, specific. that is Spearman's two-factor theory, general and specific. And the resultant one, for intelligence there are two factors necessary. First one is general, another one is specific. This two-factor theory has been proposed by Charles Spearman. Thurston's primary mental abilities. There are 7 independent abilities: verbal, memory, spatial, reasoning, etc. And this is primary mental abilities proposed by Thurston. Sternberg, triarchic theory. Analytical, then creative, practical. Analytical means problem solving, creative means innovation, practical means real life. This is the triarchic theory of Sternberg. And Howard Gardner's multiple intelligences, LLSM, that is linguistic, logical, spatial, musical, bodily, kinesthetic, interpersonal, intrapersonal, naturalistic. 8 multiple intelligences he found. Sternberg's triarchic theory, whereof CAP means creative, analytical, practical. Goldman's emotional intelligence theory has 5 aspects: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, social skills. James Lange theory, physiological arousal, emotion, feel emotion because the physiological change. Cannon-Board theory, that is simultaneous arousal, emotion. And Schachtner and Singer two-factor theory, that is cognitive label and interpretation matters. Cognitive appraisal, Lazarus. Evaluation, is this bad or good? That is what is evaluation, cognitive appraisal. Differential emotions, Ijard. Basic 10 basic universal emotions. James acts first. James Lange, arousal first. Cannonball blast simultaneously. Cannonboard simultaneously. Psychoanalytical theory, 3 components: ego, ego, superego, shaped by unconscious motives and early childhood. Humanistic, Carl Rogers and Maslow, self-actualization. People are inherently good and have free will. Focus on self-concept. Trait theory, Allport, personality is composed of enduring, consistent patterns of behavior, traits. Freud's structural model, ego, ego, superego. Biological, Eysenck, genetic biological basis, 3 dimensions: extroversion, psychotism, neuroticism. Social learning theory, Bandura, develops through observation, imitation, modeling behavior, environment and personal factors interact. Humanistic, Rogers, Maslow, self-actualization. People are inherently good and have free will. Focus on self-concept. Cooley's looking glass self. We develop self-concept by imagining how others see us. Step 1. Imagine how you appear. Step 2. Imagine their judgment. Step 3. Develop feelings about ourselves. This is what is Cooley's looking glass self. Mead theory of social self. Mead theory of social self. The I is spontaneous and creative self. Me is social self, reflects and other expectations. Vygotsky, social development. Learning is social process. Interaction comes before development. This is what is microsystem, layer 1 microsystem, mesosystem, exosystem, macrosystem. First, chronosystem, changes over time, historical event, life transitions, indirect environmentalist acting the child, parents workspace, local government. Then fourth one, broad cultural values, laws and customs. Last stage. Great man theory. Inborn quality, leaders are born, not made. Intelligence and courage. Trait theory based on specific characters, self confidence and decisiveness. Then behavior theory. Leadership can be learned. Focus on task behavior versus people behavior. Path goal theory. House. Leaders clear the path for followers. And styles, directive, supportive, participative. This is path goal theory. So leadership qualities, leadership styles, directive, supportive, participative, that is achievement oriented. Finally, cognitive sketch note studio. This is what is Benjamin Bloom's taxonomy framework for classifying learning objectives from the simple to complex. First one is level 1, remember, recollects facts and basic concepts. This is lower one. And understand, explain the ideas or concepts, level 2. And use the information in new situations, that is application. This is level 3. Analyze, draw connections among ideas, evaluate, justify a stand or decision, create, produce new original work, that is level 6. This is the highest order of thinking. And so this is cognitive domain, final one. Remember, lower one, then higher one, understand, then after apply, then analyze, evaluate, and creative. Create is so higher level thinking. Then formative assessment. For formative assessment is continuous during the learning process. Assessment for learning is formative assessment. Assessment of learning is summative assessment. Assessment as learning is diagnostic assessment. So during the learning process, continuous process, improve, teaching and learning instantly. Examples, quizzes, class tests, projects. Summative assessment, assessment of learning at the end of the instructional period. So a summative assessment is conducted. Purpose is evaluate, judge, certify performance. Annual exam, final exams. Then diagnostic assessment. Assessment as learning. Before instruction begins, identify the strengths, weaknesses, and learning gaps. Here, formative assessment, that is continuous comprehensive evaluation. Summative assessment is assessment of learning. At the end, an instructional period. This is summative assessment. Diagnostic assessment, assessment as learning. Timing before instruction begins. Purpose, identify strengths, weakness, and learning gaps. Examples, pre-test, interviews, aptitude test. This is comprehensive, continuous comprehensive evaluation, CCE, scholastic, post-scholastic, all-round development. So matrix, this is very important. evaluation matrix. Non-referenced, that is compares student with others based on the curve. Example, percentiles and ranking. Criterion referenced compares the students with a set of criteria based on the mastery. Example, grading and checklists. The engine, learning and conditioning. 2. Learning and conditioning. Insight, behaviorist habits combined with constructivist sense build the foundational skill. Hardware, intelligence and cognition. Insight, multiple intelligences. Howard Gardner, mean the child process the world in a unique and pluralistic way. Context, social, ecological context. Insight, the child is shaped by MKOs, Vygotsky and intersecting systems. The map, pedagogy and assessment. Insight, we elevate their thinking via Bloom's taxonomy and support them via formative assessment. This is the Ctet master framework. You are not just teaching. You are not just teaching a subject. You are developing a holistic human mind. Thank you for watching my Physical Science Guru. This is a Ctet psychology.